There is a new trend on TikTok that's going viral right now where people are identifying as a new sexual orientation known as super straight. No one asked these people what kind of sexual orientation they had. They just decided they were going to volunteer as super straight. The movement, which started on TikTok, has quickly become popularized on 4chan, because of course it is, and is now being used by far-right trolls as a way to mock and invalidate trans people and their identities. Let's take a look at the clip that started it all.
Yo guys, I made a new sexuality now, actually. It's called super straight, okay? Since straight people or straight men as myself, I get called transphobic because I wouldn't date a trans woman. You know, they're like, would you date a trans woman? I'm like, no, why? That's a female. No, like that's not a real woman to me. Like I want real woman. No, you're just transphobic. So now I'm super straight. I only date the opposite gender women that are born women. So you can't say I'm transphobic now because that's just my sexuality, you know?
So like, my position has been and always will be, have sex with anyone you want to, as long as they consent to it. It's weird that his weird defensive posture of like, so you can't be mad at me that I don't want to have sex with trans women. It's like, I was never mad at you for that in the first place. Do you feel like you need to come up with this new term in order to like set yourself apart? I mean, the right-wing troll doth protest too much, methinks.
Yeah, I don't know that we're doing this story justice for how hilarious it is. So it's got a serious component. We'll talk about it in a second. But when my 8-year-old daughter walks into the room and says, I didn't just eat the last cookie, I got news for you. First of all, that cookie's gone. Okay. Second of all, I have an excellent sense of who might be the culprit. So when you walk into a room and declare, I am super straight, I probably got news for you. And it ain't that you're super straight. I like the need to declare that is so revelatory, right? So I've never seen anyone spring into a room saying, I'm not gay, that didn't have something running through their heads. Okay. And so now that there's the serious component is that, look, guys, I don't know if anybody, I mean, I don't know if any part of this has a serious component. Okay, but like, who asked you? Right? I don't know. And by the way, if this is a real phenomenon, then I'm against that phenomenon too, of like people saying you must have sex with certain people. I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know that we were asking for preemptive pledges, right? So I don't agree with preemptive pledges. Cenk, would you have sex with a Bulgarian woman? Likely, but I don't know. I've never met a Bulgarian woman. I don't know, right? I didn't know that was a thing, right? But for them to, when no one is asking, to jump out of the bushes and be like, don't try to get me to have sex with that attractive trans woman because I won't do it. Okay, but dude, nobody was trying. I mean, I think you're probably having a decent amount of trouble with any kind of woman. I don't know that there were a lot of people offering, and you were going to get to choose, and you said, no. I know everybody wants me to have sex with that attractive trans woman, but I won't do it. I won't do it. Okay, if you say so.
Did we brainstorm other names in the meantime for this sexual orientation? Like, I feel like we could do better than super straight. Like super straight, it seems like a superhero who and all the people that I know whom I would describe as super straight, not one of them feels the need to go out there and be like, yo, I am super straight. It's like you just are who you are. And like, if I guarantee you that this guy would be attracted to just like if he likes cis hetero women and sees a trans woman who looks, in that guy's interpretation, like a cis hetero woman, he would in that moment be attracted to her. And then he wouldn't be like that. So I think that would disprove the fact that this guy is actually, as he describes it, super straight. Because how would you know? Describing yourself as this has nothing to do with your physical level of attraction. It has to do with your political ideology. So that disqualifies this from being an actual sexual orientation, because you would have to, how would you know? Except in the moment, you were attracted to that person. But then your political proclivities, not your sexual instincts, kicked in and were like, no, I can't do this. That's not okay. And people do that all the time. That's a kind of dynamic that factors in when people are talking about sex before marriage. They're attracted to someone, but their religion tells them they can't do it. But trying to chalk this up as some kind of like sexual orientation / I'm not gonna have sex with these people, get out of jail free card is ridiculous.
Yeah, look, there's some great logical points there that Brett just made there. So in essence, what they seem to be saying is we are not going to have sex with these women, even though we find them attractive.
Like super hot. And we're not.
Okay.
Even though they're the hottest women we've ever seen, we're not gonna do it because we're super straight.
Okay, but let's acknowledge what you just said, right? Like I'm like super attracted to them, but I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it for other reasons, okay? All right, I mean, look, by the way, again, nobody's putting a gun to your head and nobody's even asking, let alone putting a gun to your head. And if liberals ever get to a point where they're demanding that people have sex with certain kinds of other people, then I'm gonna be on your side, I'm gonna say no. Because I actually believe in #freedom. Okay, so don't worry. We don't even want to sleep with you, let alone making you sleep with us. Okay, so whoever us is. So now, look, I want to break it down a little bit further. Another good point that Brett made is, like, you don't see George Clooney and Brad Pitt going out there and being like, hey guys, I'm definitely straight. Right? In fact, they're very progressive on these issues. Why? Because they have enormous confidence. They don't have to prove it to anyone. Right? Nobody's asking, like everybody knows it. They don't have to go around pretending like, oh, I'm the straightest guy you've ever met, okay? So it reminds me a little bit of the guys buying Magnum condoms. Like, if you say so, okay? Anyway, so, and then, but the super straight has a second problem. It's SS, right? So that's the initials. Now, if you say, hey, Cenk, oh my God, you guys are stretching to find a Nazi angle here, what the hell, etc. No, it's not us. It's a post on 4chan. So 4chan is the right-wing trolls, etc. And they're saying that they love it because it's of SS and they're pushing it out because it's SS. So for at least some of them, I guarantee you it's the internet, a lot of people don't know, right? And they might be calling themselves super straight and they have no idea what's going on 4chan, right? But some of them do know and they're trying to head you in that direction and they love it, right? And by the way, this is something we've talked about in the past and there's a lot of data behind this. An entry point for extreme right-wing ideology is misogyny, because it's an easy way to get to 15-year-old boys and sometimes boys that are way older than that, but have never matured. Like, oh, doesn't it suck that you can't get laid? And first things, like, yes, that's what God is, and it's definitely not your fault, right? Oh, definitely not. No, it's somebody else's fault. Yeah, great, give me someone to blame. And the 4chan folks are like, yes, I'll give you someone to blame. Go down a list: women, Jews, blacks, Latinos, Muslims. Oh, if it wasn't for the Muslims getting all the women.
Right.
Is that a problem in America? Is that really a problem in America? Okay, but they get them to believe that because it's so intoxicating to say that you don't have personal responsibility. That's the great irony of the right wing. They don't want personal responsibility. They want to be able to say, oh, I would have been all these things and I would have gotten all the girls if it wasn't for those dastardly progressives.
Yeah. There's one little extra wrinkle that I do want to bring up is they have developed, first of all, it got banned, the hashtag got banned and the guy who put this up got banned from TikTok, but they do have their own pride flag. And they tweeted, what is super straight? This is a new sexuality that means you only attracted what we just said, cisgender women or men. And then their flag is black and orange, which it has been pointed out is also the color scheme for Grindr, which is the gay dating app. So, it's a little on the nose. I know it's also Halloween, which is, it is also the Grindr colors. So that's all I'm gonna say.
Well, I mean, come on, guys. I mean, you're gonna do something that's anti-gay, but you're gonna take the colors of Grindr. I mean, if you say so, if you say so, okay. So I mean, you guys are so obvious. You're so obvious. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with that. People are closeted and they come out later, and we believe in redemption. So brothers and sisters, don't worry, you'll have redemption on the flip side when you get to the other place and you've matured, etc. Whatever is going on in your head. And if you actually are straight, but you got riled up into hate and stuff, and you thought like, oh, this will show them. Okay, we're open to redemption there too, but not until you actually are not hating on other people. But look, I'll give two more things here. This because now again, this is a serious point. Look, here I actually don't agree with banning them, and that's a really interesting debate. Maybe we'll have that on another show. But I believe in countering them with mocking speech, as I'm doing right here. You got speech, I got speech, brother. Okay, you got colors, Grindr's got colors. Hey, look at that, it's a match. Anyway, so swipe left, you got it. Anyways, look, I'll give you the example I often give that I know it's a little strange for Americans because there's barely any Turks here, and so it kind of feels weird. Why are we talking about this tiny little ethnicity? It's just because it's such a good example here. In Germany, Turks are an ethnic minority and often oppressed and discriminated against. If you have Turkish pride in Germany, that makes perfect sense. In Turkey, Turks are the majority and have often oppressed other minorities. If you have Turkish pride in Turkey, it could create a problem because that means the majority is rising up against the minority. You see, context matters. So when you say, hey, I'm just proud to be super straight. No, wait a minute. Straight people in this country have not been an oppressed minority. If you think that's the case, then you don't know any history, you don't know any context, and you don't know the current day either. Are people straight, super straight men being beat to death in the streets? No. Are trans women? Yes. So I know that you're desperate to be a victim, but there are actual victims of actual violence in this country, and they're not in your category. I know you're solicitous of being in that category, but you don't really know what you're asking for. You just want the victimhood without the pain. So this is your silly way of doing it. Understand that straight white men in this country have never been the oppressed minority, and framing it like they are makes you sound super silly. Sorry that that's also SS.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.